Hello, welcome to this slightly bizarre video. I'm doing a sketchbook tour. This sketchbook isn't technically finished, but it's like finished in the sense that I filled all of the pages except for one at the very end, which I'm saving for something. But this is going to be my illustration portfolio sketchbook submission. So basically, because of the weird shape of this sketchbook, I will show you half of it, basically all of the pages on this side, and then I will move it over, or move the camera over, and show you the pages on the other side and go backwards to the front. It's not going to be too stark of a difference just because I've been filling this since January 13th. It is currently February 9th or 10th. So, you know, it's barely reached a month, so, you know, can't really improve that much in a month. I mean, I have, but, you know. Anyway, not important. I'm going to go through this sketchbook starting now. Thought it would be interesting. I've never done a sketchbook tour, so this is my email, and the reward for returning this sketchbook to me is $4. So yes, the real day I finished it was the 6th, but my actual legit ending will be whenever I finish. So this I drew a little bit ago. This was the first drawing I did on the 13th. This one I did yesterday. I'll do that so you can see there's a difference. So I'm just going to try and go through pretty quick. This is quite the sketchbook. It's pretty intense. It's a lot of work. I'm not really going to talk specifically about what's in it, just because I don't think that that's super constructive. I will, though, talk about my goals for this sketchbook. I wanted to introduce a lot of variety. There is more landscape art in here than I've ever done, and you're going to see there's only like 4, so, you know, that's something. I'm not really sure. This isn't a sketchbook. This is a Moleskine, like, journalist notebook. I'm going to just change the light there a little bit. This isn't really interesting. It's just a character rotation, so I'm not even going to bother. Because I decided to switch over to illustration just because I think it's better for me in my career. Those are some redraws I did. You're going to see that a lot. I love doing redraws. I think it's super helpful. And this is just some concept work for my 2D class, some conceptual stuff. You're going to see a lot of like studies I did in class that are just covered up. Not really worth looking at there. Anything interesting? Yeah, I tried to draw somebody snorting coke and then didn't work, so I was living with that. Concept for my 3D class. That's actually a page I could fill. I need to mark that sometime. This is Adora from SHERIDAN. Commission concept work. Lots of stuff going on, eh? Okay, gonna go hog wild, baby. Some Red Riding Hood concepts. I take folk and fairy tale this semester, so there's gonna be some stuff inspired by that. My friend lent me a brush pen, which I fucking hated, but basically then my teacher like looked at it and was like, you should do more stuff with that, so I got a brush pen. Or more accurately, I got my brush pen out for the first time in like 7 years. Not 7, like 4. Like, I really don't like brush pens. I find them a very annoying medium. So the thing is, when I started this sketchbook, I went in order of the pages, like a lot, until February 6th, and then I just went back and started filling or covering or whatever. Just because like I want each page to have something interesting to it and not just be me scribbling. It really takes me a few minutes to fill a page just because I don't really put too much work in doing full illustrations. That's what other parts of my portfolio are for. So, you know, you'll have some concept work like this, whatever. More ink stuff. Like this isn't done with a brush pen, it's done with like Japanese calligraphy pen. A lot of stuff that I think I could fill or draw over or, you know, put some tracing paper over and work with. I went back to some of my redraws, printed up the original, and stuck them in for comparison directly so they can see that it is a redraw, not just me fucking around. Some more observational stuff. I hallucinated in my class. This says, remember that vine where the girl taps her feet and the small child is like, daddy? And then the girl is like, do I look like? Because I was watching a movie and then I was reminded of that vine and my hand was shaking as I tried to tell my friend about it because I was laughing so hard. Anyway, fun tidbits into Elisar's life. this is just some stuff. I love Emily Carroll, so there's some stuff in here that I definitely tried to emulate her as an artist. She's one of my favorite artists. I met her actually at TCAF in April, or whenever TCAF 2018 was. And wow, I love her. She's amazing. Like, definitely one of my biggest inspirations as an artist. I love doing life drawing in my sketchbooks, especially with colored pencil. It creates some like really nice movement. I just have some like shitty pencils that I use for it. Some Percy Jackson, some Harry Potter. Same fucking thing. Holes. Doing a Draw This New Year style of my friend Finch's work. Redraw again. Some like figure seated. More concepts, more. This was a character I was going to do for my animation portfolio for the rotation. So I'm just working out the kinks of her design. I haven't really had to think about her design beyond what looked cool, so when people were telling me like how to make it better for an animation portfolio, I started taking that into account. Yes. Oh, we're skipping a little ahead there, huh? More concept stuff. So illustration really likes if you do concept that's done with a brush pen. I did that yesterday over top of a sketch that was already there. Notes for my folk and fairy tale class. I don't care if you want to read it. It's not really interesting. For folk and fairy tale class, we were focusing a lot on feminism yesterday, so it was pretty interesting. Musings about my relationship with Merlin, the show. I have some feelings about it that are kind of stupid. This is a redraw of this piece, which I did in 2015, so that to that, I don't know. Or this to this, right? I didn't color it, obviously, but the difference is there in the underlying skill, so, you know. My original 4 OCs that I made when I was like 12, they are still around. I still don't think about them or anything. Here's the problem with my OCs. I don't actually have backstories for any of them, like legitimately. They're just kind of there. This is a character by Jurio Draws, very cool artist. Some observation stuff, which I need to bring more into. That's what I mean when I say like this sketchbook is only semi-complete. That's because I really don't put too much into this sketchbook that I should be doing, like for illustration, which is observational work and that sort of thing. And then this is the one page I have filled, and I'm not gonna until closer to the day of my portfolio. So we're gonna start going backwards. So from this page. So this is gonna be fun. It'll also be easier for me to flip the pages like this. Notes from my, what's it called? Painting class from our lecture in the beginning. This is some Red Riding Hood concept. Ooh. Some pencil work. This is supposed to be Philosophy Tube, Oliver Thorne, who I love. It does not look like him, so no worries. You might have noticed I drew, what's it called? ContraPoints very poorly, and I also drew Harris Bomber guy. Oh, these are two of my coworkers, Jasmine and Mena, they're great. More characters. I really like this page. I don't know why. I think it's just because I did like these full figures, like concept work for their outfits. Some Annabeth Chase. I like to throw back to my Percy Jackson days just for funsies. The thing about the weight of these pages, because of all the stuff I've put on them, they kind of fall, so they're at an angle that's kind of ugly, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes. This is fucking annoying, sorry. My notes, which I did with tracing paper, are kind of coming up. So this was actually some work for rotation. I did make some mistakes, so like Fairuz's jacket. I also spelled Xandri's name wrong, don't worry about it. Missed the D. But on Fairuz's jacket, if you notice, the front is higher than the back. It shouldn't be like that because it's from below the horizon line, so, you know, whatever. This is one of my favorite pieces I think I've done in a sketchbook. This is the original. I did tracing paper overlay, which I really thought added to the texture of the piece. I don't think it would stand alone. It's just a flat illustration. I really love the way tracing paper looks. I think it's so necessary to the look of a lot of my work in here, so. I don't know, one suggestion I would make for anybody is to just get a sheet pad of illustration paper, like a 9x12 sheet, so you can put it to most sketchbooks, and then you can just cut it down, and it's really easy to like just fold and rip without having really harsh edges, so you don't really need to carry scissors or nothing. And just a simple thing of double-sided tape I find is really helpful too. Not really worth going to that page, huh? More of that figure drawing that we were seeing earlier. This is a character by TNCTS. Don't know how to pronounce that. Some Twilight fan art. I never liked Twilight. I remember reading the book a while ago. It's just, I think that it has potential if you remove all of the actual aspects. Like, I think the characters themselves have potential at the beginning of all of their interactions, and then it's just wrecked because Stephanie Meyer's a dumbass. More sketches of Feyruz, my character. It's an old painting. More redraws. Jackie. This is my folk and fairy tale teacher, and some other stuff. Notes that isn't really helpful. Red Riding Hood. Is there another thing there? I think there is. I think I just missed a whole thing. Xandri, my beautiful OC that I created when I was like a very young kid. Yeah, there's some Pearl. This is some very musings about how smoking is bad, but characters who smoke look really cool. So yeah, just working with that. Not in perspective. I love these kinds of pages. I have a few of them of just like Adora doing some fun little action poses. So this was the original that I did in 2017, early 2017, so it's been nearly 2 years. And then this was the redraw I did a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure if people can tell the difference. I can. I think it's hard when you're doing a redraw of a digital piece, because oftentimes I color my digital work and it can make it seem less complete here, but the actual underlying skill, like their frames, they look more their age, I think. I don't know, it's just weird. I also used to draw necks very badly. Now I draw them properly, kind of, so you know how it'd be. Fabric steady stuff. Kind of. That's my mother. It's the best I've ever drawn her. It's very hard to draw people you're close to, I think, just because that's your mom, right? Like, how are you supposed to draw somebody you see every day? Because your vision of them gets warped, especially when you actually start to look at their details. I think when you don't know somebody, it's really easy to draw them because you're like, oh, whatever. But like with somebody you know, it's like there's so much more context there that you end up paying attention to and getting distracted by. I love doing this kind of thing, like taking songs I like and then drawing stuff based on it. I actually started a very mini sketchbook of just drawings based on songs. When that's done out, I'll definitely do like a little video about it. Yeah, there's some other stuff. Feet. All my little foot freaks out there. Lots of pages in here that I think could definitely use some work. You know, it'd be like that. We're slowing down a little bit. This is a redraw of the sketchbook cover to my grade 9 sketchbook. We're kind of coming full circle. Maybe someday I'll do a full sketchbook redraw, like a sketchbook with a cover, because I made that sketchbook is the thing. That is, shoot, that's who drew Tanaka, I think. Cool, some other stuff. More notes, more dud pages. I have a lot of these dud pages because I'll often try to just get at steam when I'm doing a sketchbook, and kind of comes across as being very lazily done, but it's really just me kind of getting shit down, you know. Whenever I have spare paint, sometimes I'll take it to a sketchbook and try to add stuff to it, like here. Okay. Okay, come on, page. I know, well, more concept work for 3D, it's not really interesting. Cool, more milk and honey stuff. This is some concept stuff for my 2D class. Basically, we have to take a political issue we care about. Mine is fascist dog whistles, and then create a poster kind of informing the public. So this was a digital sketch I did. I kind of considered whether or not I actually wanted to include it. I decided that I did just because, I just dropped my scissors, cool. Just because I like I don't think that, I used to be more into this, but like I don't, oh, come on, focus buddy. I don't think that doing more writing, it's not really worth looking at. I don't think that doing a lot of writing, or not writing, digital work in a sketchbook is very constructive, because if I wanted to, I could just include it as a portfolio piece on its own, but it is a sketch, it was a study, so I figured in that instance, it has something additive to be added. I actually printed this piece out. This is for my illustration portfolio also, but I decided since it's already in the portfolio, I did not want to include it in the sketchbook, so I just have that now that I don't really know what to do with. Sometimes I'll vent, so you'll see that kind of. We're reaching the end. We're getting there, I promise. So this is the twink from Maleficent, the bird, because we had to watch that yesterday. That movie, by the way, sucks ass. It's really bad. I don't know why people liked it so much. Like, I think it was just because it was like mildly, like, and I mean mildly feminist, and like people were just like, cool, and I like, I don't know, it's not really that cool. I just don't really think it's interesting. Anyway, fun note to end on. Thanks for joining me for the last 15 minutes so that you could look at my very good sketchbook. I'm actually really happy with how the sketchbook turned out. It was a lot of fun to fill. If I have one recommendation for anybody, it's to keep a sketchbook and like keep it. I carry this thing with me everywhere unless I'm only going to be out for like 5 minutes. It's just one of my favorite things about being an artist. It's having access to a way to draw all the time. It's really fun. I fill my sketchbooks really fast. Some people I know will fill their sketchbooks over the course of a year or two, which is insane to me. I can't. I get sick of sketchbooks at some point. 1 month is basically as long as I can handle a sketchbook before I get tired of it. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will answer readily. Thank you so much.